Hello there. One of the best tips I can give you when using the V-locity software is to make sure that there's enough memory free to cache with properly. If the RAM that you're leaving free is too small, then the cache size will be too small and you'll really limit results. Let's take a quick look at that. So in the dashboard report data, if your read IOs eliminated is less than about 40%, and you want to get additional performance out of this machine, the easiest thing to do is just simply add a bit more RAM so that we have more cache size to store blocks of data that are hot, so that we can satisfy a greater percentage of those reads at the speed of RAM rather than the speed of the media in your disk storage at the back end. Now, it's very easy to check how much RAM is on a machine and how much is free by using the system information tool. And here is how to get access to that. If you click on the Windows Start button and type msinfo32, you'll see this system information app here. Let's open that up. Now there's a lot of data on here, but the two that we're particularly interested in is total physical memory and available physical memory. Now what this is showing us is how much memory Windows is reporting as being assigned to this machine, and of that, how much is currently being left free or available or not used by anything else. So in this case, we've got 16 gig of RAM assigned to this VM, and of that, we've got 5.9 gig free at the moment. So how much memory should you leave free for best results? Well, if it's something like a very busy SQL server, then I would suggest leave at least 16 gig of available physical memory. If you can't afford 16 gig, leave 8 gig free. And if you can't leave 8 gig free, then leave 4 gig free. At least that is enough to still make a difference. But when you start going much smaller than 4 gig of available physical memory, the cache size starts to become very limited, and so will the results that you'll get from it. So I hope that helps in terms of sizing. Now, if you are putting the V-locity software onto a SQL machine and you haven't already capped the amount of memory that SQL can take for itself, chances are SQL will be allocating most of the available RAM to itself and only leaving a few hundred megabytes free, which, as mentioned, wouldn't give us enough room to cache with properly. But the good news is it's very easy, if you haven't already done so, to cap the amount of memory that SQL can take for itself. And here is how to do it. So what you want to do is have a look for your Microsoft SQL Server tools that you have installed, and in here bring up the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. So let's go ahead and open that here, and I'll show you how easy it is to cap the amount of RAM that SQL takes. Okay, so we're going to connect to our database, and it'll display here on the left. So what you want to do is right click on the database and then select Properties. And the page we want to have a look at, of course, is this one here, Memory. And here you can see the minimum amount of memory that SQL will take for itself and the maximum. Now at the moment this is set to 14 gigabytes of RAM that it can go up to. So let's say we want to limit this to 8 gigabytes. So we'll put in 8,192 meg, which is 8 gig. Click OK, and that's it, we're done. SQL is now limited to using no more than 8 gigabytes of memory, and it's now leaving plenty free for V-locity to use. So we can just go ahead and close the Management Studio. That's it. So yeah, it's really around getting best results by making sure that there's enough memory free for V-locity to cache with. Now in the V-locity dashboard, you'll see down here this status, and there's a little, thankfully, a little green circle with a white tick in it showing that everything is fine, there's plenty of RAM free. If this is amber or red, you could have a situation where there is enough RAM to cache with, but the RAM is limited, so it's limiting the results, or if it's red, there might not be enough RAM to cache with at all. So keep an eye on this little status indicator, and there's, if you hover over it, there's a tooltip that'll tell you which of those situations is causing it to be that color. So if the memory is limited, it will let you know. The other thing that you can do is have a look on the I/O performance page, and here you'll see the average amount of free memory that's being used for caching and the average amount of memory that's being left free since you've installed the software, or since the last 7 days, last 30 days, however you want to set the time frame. So if the free memory in the cache is quite low and it's only a few hundred megabytes, add more RAM if you can, and make sure that SQL doesn't steal it for itself by limiting the amount of memory that SQL can take for itself to use for its buffering. I hope that helps. If you want to get additional help with any of this, we're very happy to pitch in and provide assistance. The way to find contact details for your particular region is to have a look at the Condusiv website at condusiv.com. So let's go there now, condusiv.com, and you'll see in the About Us section, we've got the Contact Us here. And if you click on that, you'll see the contact details for your particular region. So we've got contact details for North America, Europe, Middle East and Africa, which is my region, Australia, Japan, Latin America and the Caribbean. I really would like to be out there. And also there's an email address for China. So if you want any support with installing the software, making sure it's configured to give best results, checking to see if you have enough RAM available, even just interpreting the reports, we're very happy to help out. All you need to do is just get in touch. We'll assign an engineer like myself to help you with that in the shortest amount of time. And yeah, we're here to help you get the most out of the software. We're not going to bombard you with salespeople. We'll have an engineer contact you, and if need be, we can even set up a remote session to help you with whatever it is that you need. Even if it's just a few questions that you have, just please let us know and we'll do our very best to help. So I hope this series of quick fire videos has been helpful. If you need any help, you know what to do. Thanks very much, take care, and I hope you get the most out of the V-locity software.